Welcome back. Now we are going to implement this create list from random numbers. It's going to generate some random numbers and they are going to be inserted into the linked list. And we can use that insert at head or insert at tail, either of these two operations. Okay, so it will be much like the load from file implementation where we were reading the integer numbers from file and appending those numbers into the linked list. But instead of that, here we'll be actually generating the numbers using the rand function call, and we'll be inserting those numbers into the linked list. So first of all, we need to ask the user how many numbers they would want to generate and insert into the list. And for that, I can just go ahead and write a printf scanf. But instead of asking the user here, we can just pass that number as a parameter in this function. So n is the total number of numbers that we are going to generate. Okay. So that will be passed here. We'll be asking that in the main function. So let me just change the prototype there of this function. So we need to add that integer parameter. That's done. Now let me just implement this. So in order to generate the random numbers, we need to initialize the seed there. Otherwise, it will be the same series of random numbers. If you don't know how to generate these random numbers and all about this seed and srand and rand, just subscribe to my C programming lesson there in Udemy and you'll get to know everything about this random number there. I have a tutorial there for these random numbers. So here we go. First of all, we need to run a loop there. So I is the loop counter and I'm using the for loop this time. I equals 1, I less than equals n plus plus I, and then we need to generate the random number. I will be initializing the seed there to generate different random series, and we'll be passing the time function that is going to return the time of the system, and that will initialize the seed of the random number with the current system time. And since the seed is different every time when this operation is run, so the series of random numbers are going to be different. So let me just generate the random number there. So say k is the variable where we are going to keep that random number. I'm interested of taking only the last 3 digits of the random number, so I did that modulo operation with the rand function. So whatever the rand function returns, we are actually dividing that by 1000 and taking the remainder there, and that is going to be always less than 1000. I mean from 0 to 999. So we get the random number there in k, and now we are going to call that insert at tail, and we can pass that to that insert at tail. So list pointer is the first parameter and k is the number that we are going to insert into the linked list at the tail. If you want to insert at the head, you can just call insert at head instead. So this is going to add all those n random numbers generated into the linked list. So I can modify the menu. You can add this. Okay, I'll be adding that here at option 2. So printf. So we need to change all the others here. The insert at head now should be option 3. This is 4, 5. Let me change everything there. So we have 11 operations there instead of 10 now. So now we need to update the switch case as well. So this is going to be 3. So 3 is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now we'll be adding that at option 2 there. So case 2, and we need to ask for the number of integers to be generated, and let us keep that there at some variable scanf %d and ampersand say n. Okay, let me declare that n there. I'm doing that at line 197. Okay, now we'll be calling that function create list from random numbers. We need to pass that list, address of list, and this n. So that's it. Now let us go ahead and run this. Okay, here we go. GCC linked list.c. We get a warning there. We have not included the time.h. As we have used the time function, we need to include that time.h at the beginning there. So I'm doing that now. Okay, let's now just compile. But before that, I'd like to correct one more thing. We don't need this \n here in scanf. Now let's go ahead and compile that program. GCC linked list.c. Yeah, that's compiled successfully. And here we have the menu. So I'll be using the option 2 this time. How many numbers that we want to generate? 10. Okay, and that's done. So now let me just use that option 6, that's print list, and you can see that 10 numbers has been generated and inserted into the linked list. So you can go ahead and run this and check out how that works. Okay, so in the next tutorial we'll actually start implementing the delete operations. They're left. I know that this is a lengthy implementation that we are going with linked list, but once we are done with this, it will be much easier to implement the stack, queue, and double-ended queue using linked list. So join me in the next tutorial. Thank you very much.